In today's lesson, we will be looking at an article from the BBC. Let's start with the headline. Trump gets major win, but it comes with risk down the road. Let's look at the first paragraph. Donald Trump has his first major legislative victory of his second presidential term. The big beautiful bill, as he calls it, is a sprawling package that includes many key pieces of his agenda, delivering on promises he made on the campaign trail. Let's look at the first word, legislative. Legislative is an adjective. Legislative refers to the making of laws. The article says his first major legislative victory. The article states that Donald Trump managed to win his first legislative victory since becoming president for the second time. Let's practice with the word legislative. The government wants to make legislative changes to improve schools. There was a long meeting to discuss legislative changes to healthcare. Let's look at the second word, sprawling. Sprawling is an adjective. Sprawling describes something that's spread out over a large area. The article says a sprawling package that includes many key pieces of his agenda. Donald Trump's bill is one that covers a wide range of areas that the president wants to bring about changes as he promised during his presidential campaign. Let's practice with sprawling. The city is a sprawling area with many houses and roads. They live on a sprawling farm with fields and animals. Let's look at the second paragraph. It also, however, contains the seeds of political peril for the president and his party, that Trump and his team were able to shepherd the legislation through Congress despite narrow majorities in both the House of Representatives and the Senate is no small achievement. Let's look and practice with the word peril. Peril is a noun. Peril points to something that is very dangerous. The article says political peril. According to the article, this bill might cause future problems for the president and his team. Let's practice with the word peril. The hikers were in great peril when a storm hit the mountain. The soldiers knew the peril of entering enemy territory at night. Let's look at the word shepherd and understand the meaning of shepherd. Shepherd here is a verb. To shepherd is to make a group of people move to where you want them to go. The article says Trump and his team were able to shepherd the legislation through Congress. This means that Trump and his team managed to carefully guide and pass the bill through Congress. Let's practice with shepherd. The manager shepherded the project from the first idea to its final success. The coach shepherded the young players through his first big game. Now let's look at the third paragraph. His success required him and his allies to win over budget hawks within his Republican Party, who were intent on slashing government spending, as well as centrists who were wary of cuts to social programs. Let's look at the word allies. Allies is a noun, and it's the plural form of an ally. Allies are a group of people who support someone. The article says his success required him and his allies to win over budget hawks within his Republican Party. The article says Trump and his team had to convince strict money-saving Republicans to support the bill. Let's practice with allies. The president worked closely with his allies to pass the new bill. She asked her allies at work to help support her new idea. Let's look at the word slashing and the meaning of it. Slashing is a verb. Slashing is the act of cutting down something. The article says the Republican Party, who were intent on slashing government spending. The article states that members of the Republican Party strongly wanted to cut or reduce how much money the government was spending. Let's practice with slashing. The company is slashing prices to attract more customers. She is slashing her expenses so she can start saving. Now let's look at the fourth paragraph. The spending package approved by lawmakers directs about $150 billion in new spending for border security, detention centers, and immigration enforcement officers. Another $150 billion is allocated for military expenditure. Let's look at the word border security. Border security is a noun phrase. Border security is about keeping a country safe by controlling the number of people entering and leaving the country. The article indicates that Trump's bill will see that $150 billion is spent on the border security of the USA. Let's practice with border security. The country increased its border security to stop illegal drugs from being trafficked across its borders. Technology like cameras and drones help improve border security. Now let's look at the word detention. Detention is a noun. Detention is the act of keeping someone in a specific place and not allowing them to leave as a punishment or security reasons, and a detention center is where they are kept. The article says about $150 billion in new spending for border security, detention centers, and immigration enforcement officers. According to the article, Trump will also be investing a lot of money into detention centers. Let's practice with detention. They got detention for talking during class. Their teacher was angry with their behavior. He was taken to a detention center for selling drugs. Now we will be doing a reading practice. Listen carefully to what I read, and I want you to repeat after me. Donald Trump has his first major legislative victory of his second presidential term. The Big Beautiful Bill, as he calls it, is a sprawling package that includes many key pieces of his agenda, delivering on promises he made on the campaign trail. It also, however, contains the seeds of political peril for the president and his party. That Trump and his team were able to shepherd the legislation through Congress, despite narrow majorities in both the House of Representatives and the Senate, is no small achievement. His success required him and his team to win over budget hawks within his Republican Party, who were intent on slashing government spending, as well as centrists who were wary of cuts to social programs. The spending package approved by lawmakers directs about $150 billion in new spending for border security, detention centers, and immigration enforcement officers. Another $150 billion is allocated for military expenditures. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson. Don't forget to subscribe and tell us, among the words that we've taught you today, what's the one word that you've enjoyed learning the most, and learn to use it in a sentence, and leave that in the comment section. Until next time, see you soon.